You don't want none. I'm good. I believe I'll die. I believe I will die. I believe I'll die. I believe I will die. I believe I'll die. I believe I will die. I believe I'll die. What's going on, Tar Heels? This is Alan, one half of the Hill Brothers, here to talk some UNC basketball with my good friend, 94 feet of Tar, UNC Lindel. What's going on, buddy?
Man, I can't call it, man. Listen, I appreciate you for having me on, Alan. You know, it feels good to be here. This has been a long time in the making, but hey, we here now, and you know, one of these days we'll make it happen too, to where we can get Nathan on here too, man. But big shout out to you guys, man. Been a big supporter of you guys, and yeah, so we here to talk some hoops, man, and a little bit of Bill Belichick for sure.
Oh yeah, I know that ain't your expertise, but I would definitely get your thoughts behind that.
Absolutely. Let's make it happen.
But all right, well, I'll give you the floor. Give you a little introduction for anybody that doesn't know. Mr. Lindel here, he has some heavy hitters over on his YouTube page. We'll get all his stuff in the description, so y'all make sure you go like, subscribe. You know, tell this man how great his videos are, because man, the people that he pulls over on his channel will blow your mind. So y'all go check those videos out. But hey, man, tell us a little bit like what you like to do on your show. You can name drop a couple of the heavy hitters that I'm referring to that you have had on, and just let people know what you like to do over there at 94 feet of UNC.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, like Alan said, man, I go by Lindel Graham. My podcast, my YouTube channel, and my socials as far as Twitter and Instagram, it's at 94 feet of UNC. Yeah, man, I started my podcast, you know, maybe I would say maybe 5 months ago, between 5-6 months ago. And just been steady at it, man. And you know, one door, you know, just kind of in the beginning, it was just trying to figure out how I was going to do things, like, you know, as far as with my show, was it going to be daily or every other day or whatever the case may be. So just ended up, man, and you know, reaching out to a few people, and it started with Isaac Shade. Of course, over at Locked On Tar Heels, that's my guy right there. Big shout out to Isaac, man. Interviewed Isaac, and one door after another just kept opening and just kept opening. And, you know, eventually started interviewing a lot of the alumni players from, good gracious, from the David Noels to Rayshawn Terry, Pete Chilcutt, Derek Phelps, Brian Reese, Mike Copeland, Quentin Thomas, Dexter Strickland. Just recently interviewed Danny Green. Had a big episode with him that I just released last week. And I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, man. There's a lot of people have interviewed, some writers and some other podcasters, and I mean, it's just been like I said, when one door is open, the next door opens. Like, it ain't no one door closes, the next one opens. Every door has just stayed open, man, and it's just been a domino effect. And
right.
You know, got a lot of big interviews coming up, man. You know, I don't want to I ain't gonna let no cats out the bag or whatever.
Yeah, can't wrangle them up once you do.
Absolutely, some huge interviews coming up, man. But you know, you know, my thing was I wanted to get everybody to kind of chime in. Like, a lot of people want to know what the players are doing after they leave UNC.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the things. And, you know, like I said, you know, it was like in the beginning, it's not what I wanted to do, but it ended up being a niche. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to just kind of stick with this for a little bit. And, you know, it's just been great, man. Like, you know, talking to the players, you know, and chopping it up with them, man, you know, and, you know, just building those relationships with the guys and everything. And it's been a fun ride, man. But yeah, I'm enjoying everything, man. And now, hey, I'm here. You know, reached out to Nathan. Reached
Man,
out to
I
Nathan a
appreciate
while
you
ago.
being here. Gives me somebody to talk to, because God knows when it's just me, I I talk less. The time that I talk is less than the time that it takes me to set all this stuff up and tear it back down. So it's more work setting it up and tearing it down than it is just getting on here talking to dead air. So I appreciate you being here.
Hey, listen, like I told Nathan, man, when I watched his video about how he was gonna take a little step back and focus on some things within life or whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
I told him, man, like I said, I've always been a big supporter of you guys and always been a fan of the show. So, I just told him, like, listen, anytime that you need anything, that I was always, I'm here if you needed to have a co-host or something on the show or whatever the case may be. And hey, we made it happen, and I'm here. I'm on Hill Brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's an
You,
honor to be here for sure. For
you're
sure.
on Hill Brothers, and I'm honored to be able to talk to you. I mean, man, Danny Green. I haven't watched the Danny Green episode yet, but I'll get to that tomorrow. But I sure hope you ask him how it felt to dunk on Greg Paulus. Wee boy.
You know what? I did
Oh
not
man.
ask him that. I did not ask him that. But of course, as you can see,
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
yeah, I did mention it to him. I was, when we first got on the episode, I told him, I said, Danny, if you look, you can see this big poster back here or whatever. He was like, oh man, that's great. He was like, you must have just put that up right before you got on here on the show with me. And I'm like, nah, bro, this has been here. Like, come
Go
on,
back and check
relax.
the clips.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
check the
yeah, yeah,
clips.
yeah. So, but nah, it was a great interview with Danny, man. Make sure y'all go and check that out. Like I said, man, at 94 feet of UNC. And like Alan said, all of the info will be in the description or whatever. But definitely come on over, support your boy, man, and check out some really good interviews with the players and things like that. We have a lot of good fun over there. So I'm gonna get Alan and Nathan over there too, Hill Brother fans. Like, don't y'all worry. They definitely coming. Now that we've connected, they definitely coming for sure. But yeah, man, like I'm happy to be here, man. I'm definitely happy to be here.
All right. Well, our beloved men's basketball team is currently 6-4, a 2-game winning streak against Georgia Tech and LaSalle. The Georgia Tech game, it's a win. Al Davis said it best: just win, baby, win.
That's it.
But man, that wasn't a win. I was there personally. That wasn't. I mean, it was ugly. It
Yeah.
was ugly for a long time. Then they come in against LaSalle, and LaSalle is LaSalle. I mean, they're not going to knock anybody out of the park with their athleticism, their height, their strength. North Carolina gets the 93-67 win.
Yeah.
I think, did we see a coming out party against Cade Tyson, or is it just that's the kind of competition Cade Tyson is used to playing against when he was with Belmont?
Alan, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, when I sit back and talk to, like I said, a lot of these players and coaches and a whole lot of people behind the scenes, I'm gonna be honest with you. I tell everybody, North Carolina has a lot of different weapons this year. To me, I think they have more weapons this year than they had last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is still trying to adjust and figure out what their roles are, right? Because when you think about it, a lot of us have had the expectations of, it was like, you got Cade. Our expectations of Cade was very high, right? Coming in. Our expectations, thinking that Jay Wash was going to take the next step up in his game. Jay Withers the same way. Elliott, which Elliott has done. Seth takes a step every year, like he's done since he's been at UNC. But what happened is Cade didn't produce like he probably should. Jay Wash isn't producing like he probably should, or what we expected. I'll say that as fans. Jay Withers hasn't produced as we expected as fans. So what that's done is it's made other players such as Drake. You know, I keep hearing a lot of people saying put Drake at the 4. You can't do that. He's 6'6". I get it, but putting him at the 4, he's a little bit too small for that. You just can't do it. Ian is now playing the 3 spot, which I think Ian was looking for the starter role, and that's the reason why I say the whole Seth Trimble thing. We didn't expect Seth Trimble to take that leap that he took. I know
No,
I didn't. Right?
I did not at all.
So when you really think about it, we thought that Seth would come off the bench like he's been doing, but he would take another step up. Ian was going to start at that 3 spot. Everybody based that and assumed that that's who the 3 spot was going to be given to before the season started. Well, that didn't happen. So now you got Seth out there. You got Ian coming off the bench. You got Drake that's playing a 4 more and then a 3. And then Cade is not playing and producing enough. Jay Wash isn't producing enough. Jay Withers isn't producing enough. So now it's like everybody's scrambling and they're playing different positions that they shouldn't, that they're not used to. I'll say that. Not so much that they shouldn't be playing, but positions that they're not used to. So you got to adjust. And now that everybody has kind of started getting into a little bit of rhythm, that might have been Cade's coming out party. 23 points is huge. I think that builds up his confidence like crazy. Then Allen Lubin is solid. I think he needs more minutes. James Brown was spectacular to me in that game against LaSalle. His post presence, and I mean, he really showed that he deserves a few minutes. And let's not forget, we're also hurting because we miss Zayden High, another big body.
Yeah, Zayden High is a bit. That's a big to me personally. That's a big loss for UNC.
Absolutely,
he was big.
Yeah,
and big in the sense of like he was tall, but he also had some weight. It was like James Brown. Once give him a year and a half in the nutrition with UNC, the weight room with UNC. He'll put on good weight, and I think James Brown is probably going to be one of the best 5 men that we've had in some time. Now, of course, we've had 12 years of Mondo.
Right.
I mean, you can't. But James Brown is going to be if he stays with UNC. The transfer report is always thing. But to me, I see like I said, I went to the Georgia Tech game. I saw James Brown up close. He's really tall. He's really long. He just needs to put on some of that weight that, typical freshmen don't come into high school, don't come into college with that good weight, that good muscle, unless you're just absolutely genetic freaks, like a Zion Williamson, and like that. So, you give Brown a year or so in the facilities with Jonas, dude, he has the ability, and he keeps that high motor. He has the ability to be a real problem down there.
Yeah. I like Ty Claude as well. Ty Claude is, I tell people all the time, like, because a lot of people be like, nah, Ty Claude is not going to get any burn. He's not going to get no playing time or anything like that. Well, let's sit back and think about it for a second. Think about it like this, Alan. Ty Claude, number 1 in the ACC last year in offensive rebounds. That's over Armando Bacot. That's over Harrison Ingram. And all of the other bigs from the ACC last year. He was number 1. And he was 8th in minutes on Georgia Tech's team last year. Let that part right there needs to sink in for people alone.
I'm pretty sure he gave UNC the business.
He did. Number 10 in the country in offensive rebounds last year. That's huge. That is huge. So he has the experience. and it's starting to show on the court.
Mhm.
To be honest with you, because I think he's starting to come around a little bit. I do think that Hubert, Coach Davis should change up the lineup a little bit, which he has done here lately.
Mhm.
But
Lubin's been getting the start since Georgia Tech.
right, and I think he should toy around a little bit more with the lineups.
Yeah.
I really think he should. I'm not big on the 3-guard lineup. I've never been big on the 3-guard lineup. But I think he does need to toy around and play around with it a little bit more, because one thing, like my father has always told me, if you run the players in the beginning of the season and you run them so hard, at the end of the season, the legs is going to give out. And
Mhm.
you can't keep relying on RJ, Elliott, and Seth to pretty much kind of carry you. So everybody else has to step up. They have
Right.
no choice but to step up. So I think that he needs to kind of toy around and keep playing around with the lineups or whatever. I think he should go with the Bill Guthridge method. A lot of people keep asking me what that method is or whatever. If back in the 97, I might be exposing my age here a little bit, but it's all good. But back in 97, when you had Ed Cota, Shammond Williams, Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Mac Tarjai, and Ademola Okulaja, it was a 6-man starting rotation. Bill Guthridge would rotate all 6 of those guys. So every game, somebody was sitting out, but they would rotate. I think that Coach Davis should kind of go with the same thing. I'm not saying all 10 players rotate them, but at the same
Mhm.
time, I think that you should start taking your main players and start rotating them and base things off of your opponent. Whoever your opponent is, base your starting lineup off of that. Your starting lineup should be different from a Boston College versus a Duke game. Should be totally different. Duke is big, they're tall, whatever you want to call it. Boston College should be a little bit different. And just kind of keep things like that. Number one, it's going to keep confidence up from these players, because now they're going to start to see, hey, I'm gonna be starting tonight. Like, it's building up confidence for them to get out on the court and do their thing and produce things like that. But not only that, it's also there to retain them at the end of the season.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. It's a big thing.
they're not going to want to transfer and things like that. You take, for instance, like Cade Tyson. If this was the end of the season, a lot of people is going to be scratching their heads like, is he staying or is he going to go? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, but if you rotate these players and you put them in there, like, say, against a LaSalle, let them start against LaSalle, let them start against Boston College and these lower bottom tier teams or whatever, the Stanfords and the Cals and things like that. Let them start against these teams.
Mhm.
Build up their confidence. Let him get into more of a rhythm, get more shots up, things like that or whatever. And what that player is going to think is, well, you know what? During that season, coach let me score. He let me start at least 10 games this season. I built up my confidence. I didn't produce like I wanted to. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come back for another season. I'm going to come back
Yeah.
for another season.
I
It's going to
I
help
can
you.
agree with that.
So I just think that that's the best way to go about doing things, because that small guard lineup, I don't think it's going to work against Duke like that. They're too
I don't
big.
me either. I don't think so. I don't know if it works against Florida. What Florida has, what, a 7'9" center?
Well,
Is that right?
he's not playing. He's actually out for the season.
Oh, see,
So
that's
we
that
kind of lucked up on that, I guess you could say.
dodged a bullet. Is
Yeah,
what you're
we
saying?
dodged the bullet for sure. But yeah, I think he's out for the season. He's not playing. That 7'9" guy
Well,
that you're talking about. Yeah.
that's I hate it for that guy, but I'm going to enjoy it tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. for sure. And I think we get the win for tomorrow night. So
You think so?
absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, one more thing on Cade. You know, he came in with shooting a percentage of, it was either 45 or 47%
Yep.
from three. That's insane. I mean, and granted, when he was with Belmont, right? Yep. Belmont.
Yep.
He was probably the guy. You know,
Yes.
he was the one. You score us the points. We're going to run offense for you. We're going to run you off the screen. You're going to be open. But when you transfer to North Carolina, it doesn't matter who you are. You're never. There's no one person that's the main focus.
Right.
So, me personally, my thoughts. It's good for him to see the ball go through the basket tonight, because when they go into Charlotte tomorrow night, even if he's on the floor, whoever's defending him, they're in the back, you know, and that coach is going to be like, he just lit him up this weekend, you know. Maybe not, you know, give him a step, but, you know, don't help 3 steps.
Right.
You know, stick to him, because we don't want to get burnt by him getting hot from 3.
Yeah.
So just a shooter seeing the ball go through the basket, maybe that heats him up. But moving on from that, somebody that I really need to heat up, that's RJ Davis. He's shooting 25% from behind the 3-point line. That's not the RJ we know. And last year was an absolute historical season, and this year is his final season. There's no more coming or going. I'm sure he's thinking about this is his last season. I'm sure he's seen all the preseason, ACC Player of the Year, preseason first team All-American. He sees all that, and he sees this brand new team with a lot of young guys, and he wants to lead this team, and he wants to score the points. But at what point does Hubert need to pull the reins and be like, look, RJ, you went 4 for 11. At one point, he shot the ball 24 times against Georgia Tech, I believe.
Right.
At what does Hubert have to like? Look, we can score the ball, or do you just be like, hey, this is our guy. He's going to get his, and if they go in, they go in. Or does he's got to shoot himself out of it, or does he need to like maybe pull back and, you know, because he has been distributing the ball pretty well.
Right. So here's the thing when it comes to RJ, because I'm glad that you brought the RJ Davis situation up. And what I need for the fans out there to understand about this whole RJ situation. I like where RJ is right now. Do I think he's going to get better? Absolutely. Here's what people have to understand. Last year, RJ was the go-to guy. He was the head honcho scorer of the team. Mondo took a step back. Harrison was a solid player, but he wasn't like that lethal automatic type scorer.
Cormac in the Smith Center.
Yeah, Cormac was streaky. Elliott wasn't who he is this year. So who had to put the whole team pretty much on their shoulders? It was RJ. That's the reason why he had the historic season last season, right? This year, RJ doesn't have to do that. He's got more weapons around him. And not only that, it's if RJ is the guy that's doing everything right now, just imagine if RJ was doing everything right now and being that crazy scorer or whatever, then it's taken away from the rest of the team, whom you have other scorers and people that also got to get their shots up and get their points as well. Ian has to get his points up. He's got to get his shots up. Elliott has to shoot more because he's been showing us all off season, that he's been working on his 3 and everything. So he has to shoot more. Drake is starting to shoot more. Cade came in, like you said, 47% from the 3-point line. Seth, as I said earlier, always takes a step forward every season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we thought Jay Withers was going to take a step forward from the things that we was hearing during the offseason about, oh, you know, he's a different player. Like, he's really stepped up or whatever. We heard the same thing about Jay Wash. Like, so there's a lot of different weapons on this team. Everybody right now, I think RJ, what Coach Davis is trying to do is spread the love. Like, I really do think so. And I think if it comes down to it, then yeah, you give it to RJ. But right now, it's all about, like, he's not gonna be the all-time scoring leader. Now, he might end up in second, but he's not gonna pass Tyler. He's just not.
No.
But
What Tyler did was insane.
yeah, so I mean, but hey, number 2 ain't bad. Number two
ain't nothing to laugh at, son.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
with the names that come to that university.
Exactly. So I think it's and I'm not saying that that's what he's chasing, but however, at the same time, I think RJ is just, you know what, this is my last year. Of course, I want to win a natty, you know, things like that or whatever, but I don't have all of that pressure on me like I did last year. Now I have other scorers around me: Seth, Ian, Elliott, Drake, Cade. I mean, and you know, that's some pretty good players around you that can put some points in the basket, like put some points on the board. So I think that's really what's going on when it comes to RJ. I think the fans need to relax a little bit because everybody keeps saying, like, oh, I want RJ to just, RJ ain't shooting well. No, and you're right. His percentage should be a little bit better, but at the same time, look at the threat that RJ puts on the floor.
Yeah, he's number one on the scouting report.
Yeah, when he's not shooting well, then teams are still focused on RJ because it's RJ Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still focused on him. So what does that do? You leave him on the floor, even if he's not shooting well, he's still going to get all of that attention. But guess what? He's got all those other shooters around him: Ian, Drake, Seth, Elliott. And if we could get, you know, Washington and Cade can be a lot more consistent, and Withers can start coming alive, and Lubin can do what he does, then Carolina is a very, very, very dangerous team. And, you know, then once everybody else is into a rhythm, okay, now let's turn RJ on and get it up a little bit more or whatever, because now everybody was focused on RJ in the beginning. They had to, while everybody else outside of RJ was scoring, now that everybody outside of RJ is scoring, what teams is going to start focusing on, guess what? Now they're going to leave RJ a little bit more open, to where now RJ can get RJ in and going. So it's a method. It's a method. Mm-hmm. And I just want the fans to just sit back and understand that, just kind of be patient and just understand what they're really dealing with this year. This is a completely different team than what we as UNC fans are used to. Like, completely. We don't have a legitimate big man in the front court this year. So we got to sit back and see what we got, and let's work with things that way. So yeah.
And you know, I'm not going to pretend like I know the X's and O's. You know, I'm not a basketball connoisseur when it comes to the grease board, but you know, I can me personally watch it. They played the pick and roll this year. The teams that are playing against UNC are playing the pick and roll differently against UNC this year than they did last year. On the pick and roll last year, they had to go with mono, because if not, that's a guaranteed 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they're not going with the roll guy because the big's not really rolling that hard to the basket. And most of the time, the two defenders involved in the pick and roll are just jumping the guard, whether it's Elliott or RJ. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't allow the guard to get downhill to either create for himself or create for the big man.
Yeah.
Now, what would be interesting to see from my point of view is if they run a pick and roll with, say, Drake Powell, maybe Withers. They're both athletic, they're both springy, and I'm fairly confident that they both have hands that they can catch a pocket pass if need be.
Mm-hmm.
Would the defenses play that differently? Because you can't leave Drake or Jaylen open and just roll into the basket because that's just an easy lob over the top.
Right.
And then they're dunking them.
Yeah.
Without that big man, I just feel like this team just gets bogged down and just pounds that ball into the court for the first 20 seconds of the shot clock if they're not in transition, and then they throw it to RJ and be like, "Save us," especially if Cadeau's not.
Well, now the thing with that is when you had somebody like Mondo, or somebody like Harrison, when Mondo and Harrison kept the lane open.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's not there, the lane is closed because the opposing team already know that Jay Wash and Jay Witt haven't been producing. They watch tapes. They know.
Mm-hmm.
So they already know, okay, we're going to slack off for Jay Wash. We're going to slack off for Jay Witt. And what we're going to do is they got these three guards out there. They know these three guards are they're going to put bigger players on our three guards and taller players, but we're trying to use quickness to go around these taller players. But as soon as we get around these taller players and we get into the paint, now the paint is closed up because they've slacked off for Jay Wash and Jay Witt. So see, they can't drive like Elliott hasn't been driving like he did last season. RJ is not driving like he did last season. Seth is, because Seth is very athletic. But a presence like Mondo there's a lot of times that Mondo had to be double teamed or whatever the case may be, but you had to find out where he was. Like, you couldn't just slack off of Armando Bacot. We don't have that this year. So we got to figure out other ways. And right now, you're using the scoring from the three guards because, once again, nobody else is producing. And that's the reason why we keep getting down in these big deficits or whatever in the first half. And then we got to try and claw our way out of it in the second half. But you got to start getting more production from the front court. Use what you have. I think Lubin should start.
Mm-hmm.
I think Washington should come off the bench. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know it's gonna sound kind of crazy to maybe to a lot of people, but I think if you put Lubin at the 4, here's my starting 5, and people might say I'm crazy, Alan. I was
going to ask you that next, so you're going where I want you to go.
Okay, so my starting 5, I think it's tough because Elliott could sit the bench. He could. I'm not mad at it if he does, but I'll say, okay, Elliott, RJ, Ian, Lubin, and honestly, I would go with Ty Claude or Withers, maybe, but Washington would come off the bench. I think Trimble is an amazing player. This is no slouch towards any of the players on the team. If any of them hear this is no slouch or anything to any of them. But I like Trimble coming off the bench because now you have bench scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you bring him off the bench and let him come off the bench with Cade, Jay Wash. Guess what that's gonna do? Like, Cade opens up the floor. He stretches the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to start looking out for Cade Tyson because of the fact he's capable. And if he really gets going, it's going to make us even more dangerous. That's going to
yeah.
open up the floor. The guard's going to be able to drive to the paint because now Cade is out somewhere. And you know,
we've
just
seen what Brady Manic did for that.
Exactly. So, I like Ty Claude at the 5 or Withers because I think Ty Claude just has the experience. He has a big body. He knows how to he knows how to rebound. He knows how to rebound. Like, I mean, it's just incredible because right now Jay Wash is just not giving us anything. He really isn't. Like, everything that we heard about him over the offseason, he has not done any of it. Any of it. We ain't seen the little 17-footer. We ain't seen no post moves. We ain't seen no 3-point shooting.
No.
We barely seen.
Well, we've seen it, and he's just not hitting.
Well, yeah, but how many attempts has he taken? He took one
Less
attempt.
than 10.
Yeah, he took one attempt. If I ain't mistaken, I think in the either LaSalle game or the Georgia Tech game, and he hadn't taken one before then, like all season, and he missed that.
Yeah, and it was. I didn't watch it. I heard the post game.
Yeah, so
he took that one early in the shot clock, a 20-footer early in the shot clock, bricked it, and then Hubert said it.
Yeah,
he played Jay Wash, the guy that was the 5 that was going to center this team. He was coming in this year hype, ready. You saw all the videos of him in the all season. Back to the basket, turnaround hooks, dunking on people in practice, hitting the threes. He was going to be the guy that Hubert was going to ride to replace Mondo.
And he had
played
not produced
8 minutes.
Yeah,
against LaSalle out of 40 minutes.
And he had 8 minutes. Yeah, he has not produced.
But my starting five's even more wild than yours.
And if he's not careful, Ty Claude or James Brown is going to take his spot. I mean, that's just what it is. I like James Brown at the 5. I think you should start James Brown at the 5. He's a little bit inexperienced, but I mean, he's big enough. I think Jay Wash is at his ceiling. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he is at his ceiling. I think I because he's not a 5 to me, and he's not quick enough at the 4. Now, can he be a stretch 4? Yes, but on the defensive end, he's not quick enough. I don't think
he's not guarding.
So
ESPN Darlin Cooper flat.
Yeah, so I mean, you put him up against Janai Broome right now. Janai Broome he's barbecue. He's barbecue chicken. Like,
he went up against Janai Broome, and Broome had 20 in the first half.
Exactly. So
had the whole team in foul trouble.
Yeah. So he's a stretch 4 to me on the offensive end. I think he's at his ceiling. I really do. As bad as I hate to say that, because I like Jay Wash.
He was highly touted coming out of high school. He had them horrific knee injuries during I think his sophomore season. He didn't even get to play his junior and senior season.
Right.
And North Carolina kept him on. North Carolina was recruiting him then. North Carolina said, "No, get healthy. We see what you can do when you're 14, 15, 16. We see the talent you have at 15, 16. So clearly you have the height, the skill to play for us. Get healthy and get in this program, and we'll do the rest."
Mm-hmm.
But
he hasn't produced. So
he hasn't, and really he hasn't had a chance to play a whole lot of basketball. I mean, this is honestly the most basketball he's played probably since his sophomore, consistently played since his sophomore season in high school.
I agree.
So I mean, I get it, but UNC is a "what have you done for us lately" type university.
Right.
The fans don't care what happened to you in high school. Maybe some do. I'm not going to say all. But when it comes down to game, when the lights turn on, they want to know what are you doing for us when the lights are on.
For sure.
But man, I keep what starting five? Like if I was a coach, what starting five would I have?
Now I could change it up too now because Elliott, like I said in the beginning, Elliott can sit the bench.
Yeah,
and you could bring in RJ and Seth at the 1 and 2 and Ian at the 3.
I see. I'm passing on E.
You passing on Ian?
To start. I'm passing.
How? He's the leading scorer in the last 4 or 5 games. He's the leading team scorer in the last 4 or 5 games. How can you pass on that?
I like Drake more.
You like Drake more?
Mm-hmm. I think I think he's more of a teammate. Take that how you will. You watch, and it's nothing against Ian Jackson. He is a fantastic player. Mm-hmm. But I've seen him look off wide open teammates. So he could either take a highly contested step back jump shot or take a double team to the rim for a highly contested layup. When he had a teammate wide open.
Is that not what Seth does? Because Seth do the same thing.
Seth does the same thing. But I don't know if he necessarily looks somebody off to him. Like, I've physically seen him in the LaSalle game. Cade Tyson was on a heater, and he looked off Cade Tyson and went and did it himself.
You talk about Seth?
No, Ian.
Because Seth did it a couple of times too.
Right. Yeah, I can't speak on it.
Yeah.
In Georgia Tech, Ian completely looked over Elliott, who was wide open on the wing inside the 3-point arc while he was driving to the basket against 2 players. I mean, his face was looking at Cadeau, and he looked at Cadeau wide open, nobody guarding in the corner, and he said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna try," and he missed the layup.
Well, you got to also remember too, Alan. I mean, these guys they've been limited in minutes and things like that. Like, I was having I'll say this because I was actually having this talk with Rayshawn Terry. Like, that's like my brother right there. Like, we talk like every day, right? So I just talked to him earlier today, as a matter of fact. But I was having to talk with him. And Rayshawn said the biggest difference between UNC and Duke is the fact that Duke like unleashes they take the leashes off of their players. Mm-hmm. Like, when they come out on the court, it's like, yo, okay, we have a system, but be the dog that we want you to be. You know what I'm saying? And for so long since I've known, UNC just isn't like that. They're just not the type to take the leashes off of players or whatever the case may be.
It's structured. Like, there's structure. There's more play calls. Except for this year, I don't think Hubert Davis is doing a lot of play. I don't think he's calling a lot of plays outside of the horn sets and the pick and rolls. You saw some of it on. You saw some. I'll tell you that back. You saw some against LaSalle on some of the highlights. That one dunk that Cade Tyson had. That was a big man setting a screen on the interior to free up Cade on coming around into the lane where he got the ball. So that was a good play call. That was drawn up by Hubert. That's a good play. I think we need more. I think these players in particular need more structure and more play calls to be able to score.
I mean, I can see that. I can see that, but at the same time, yeah, I think these guys are. I think they're starting to figure it out. I think the LaSalle game was the turning point game. Like, every year, UNC has a turning point game. Mm-hmm. I think the LaSalle game was the turning point game, but a lot of people also say, yeah, but look at the competition. But I think that the game against Florida is going to solidify the fact that it's a turning point game for them.
Yeah.
Because now I think they've started to figure out the inside. Lubin is starting to have a little post-up presence.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing because they're going to need it.
Yeah, he was a 13-8 guy in the SEC.
Exactly. And he knows this Florida team. Cade
Mhm.
is someone that's, listen, I think now you got to start drawing up plays and things like that for that. And let me just kind of go back. I don't think Hubert has showed his full hand so far this season.
That could be it also.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different factors that we got to put into it. The problem is UNC fans are just spoiled.
They
And I
are.
mean, every year it's championship or bust. We are spoiled. They didn't call us the wine and cheese crowd for a long time for nothing. Like, we're just spoiled. And that's just what it is or whatever. And sometimes you have to give things time. Sometimes you gotta let things breathe and give time. Like, that's just what it is. Like, give time, a little time, to make things right, to so that we can get the whole dish of things instead of demanding and wanting things right then and there. Like, I just think that, because of that mentality that we as fans have, it's tough to do that or whatever, because they want things right now instead of being patient for it. I get it. I understand it. I totally do, because I'm a fan. So of course, I mean, I would like it, but at the same time, I understand the reality of things as well. So
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
yeah,
North Carolina hasn't won a natty since 2017.
17. Yeah, yeah.
They got there a couple years ago, lost,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and then
and let me
the
say this.
next year,
I do need to say this too, Alan, real quick, and I don't mean to cut you off. Fans, the UNC fans, can we please stop with the Hubert Davis being on the hot seat? Hubert should be fired. Hubert doesn't know anything. I can't address that enough, because for the very simple reason, people need to understand that Hubert has done a heck of a job. He really has. He's done a good job in recruiting. He's done a good job in the transfer portal. Pete Nance was a good player. He just didn't fit the system.
he's in the NBA.
Exactly. He went to a national championship game in his first year. He beat Coach Cade twice. He hasn't had a losing record season win-wise, because I was always told that 20 plus wins is a winning season. So he doesn't have anything under 20 wins as far as, in each season that he's coached. Like, yeah, has he missed out? Has he made mistakes? Who doesn't? Who doesn't make mistakes? So all of the fans out there, please, let's stop with the Hubert should be fired and all of that and stuff. I just think that I don't think that that's fair to him. And, it's going to kind of go in with our last topic probably for the night or whatever, once we get to it or whatever. But let's just be cool and let's be patient and let's just see how things play out or whatever, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy the moments. Good games. If we win, we win. We lose, we lose. I don't mind losing close games if the effort is there. But if there's no effort, I can't stand that. I cannot stand a losing game if you didn't put in any effort. I just can't stand that. So, but enjoy the W's. There's going to be some ups. There's going to be some downs. This is a completely different team. We have to adjust the same way that they have to adjust. So, yeah. But I just had to say that, but I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
Oh no, because I mean I think the same thing. Like, how long of a leash does Hubert have? I mean, this is a program that's used to winning at a high level. This is a program that's used to competing in the Sweet 16. Used to is almost close to the standard at one point.
Right.
Alabama's had UNC's number for a couple of times now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, North Carolina swept Duke last season, but Duke got the sweep the season before that. And honestly, if Duke was to go on to win a national championship, say this season, which is possible, they have the pieces. It's just that they can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Once Duke wins one, UNC is automatically on the clock. You need your get back. You got to get your get back.
Mm-hmm.
Duke, you can't let Duke win it all and North Carolina just sits there, because then the fan base is like, well, we're better. We're better than Duke. We're better than Duke. Why? How can they win it and we can't? Me personally, Coach K was a better coach than John Shire, in my opinion.
For sure.
John Shire, both of them had a fantastic ability to do the least with the most. But I'm not sure, coaching wise, head to head, that team that John Shire had that swept North Carolina, that team was just the team that Hubert Davis had was just an absolute dumpster fire. Like you said, Pete Nance just did not fit the system.
Mm-hmm.
And they had all the athletes, but then when it was evenly matched, you kind of seen Duke came back for their redemption tour. I mean, it's just funny how those two teams mirror each other almost identically.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think if one is more successful than the other one, they're compared to each other like twins. Like, well, we can't let this team get too far ahead, or we're doing something wrong over here. If this team's winning more games than we're winning, so we got to change something. And the only thing that's going to change, that's going to be the head.
Yeah.
But all right, we're going to flush on it. All right, this week is a huge week. Tuesday you got Florida. Saturday you got UCLA. North Carolina is currently 1-4 in quad 1 games. They have played 0 quad 2 games, and they've lost. I don't think they've lost any quad 3 games, because that would be disastrous. This week, me personally, for your tournament hopes, because the ACC is doing you no favors. Most of those games are either quad 3s. If you're at home and it's an ACC opponent outside of maybe Duke, maybe Pittsburgh,
mm-hmm.
they're quad 3 games, because the league's just, for whatever reason. I mean, look at the SEC, ACC challenge. Clemson did what they wanted to do against Kentucky. They got one, of course. Duke got Auburn. That was unfortunate. But outside of that, it was 14-2 SEC. The ACC is just behind, and me personally, it all comes down to money. That's a conversation we can get into another day. So me personally, I think North Carolina needs to go 2-0. I'm not going to say has to. I think they can split, and if they're going to split, they might want to lose to Florida and beat UCLA, because UCLA kind of reminds me of the Michigan game. That's just a game you need to win. Your thoughts going into this week?
The Jumpman Invitational has been going on how long?
3 seasons? 4 seasons? 3 seasons. Did it start with Hubert Davis? I think it started with Hubert Davis, right? This would be his 4th season?
This might be the 3rd.
3rd? Is it? It could be 3rd.
Might be the 3rd, because I know they played Michigan.
They
played Oklahoma last year.
Oklahoma.
And then they got Florida this year.
You're right. This is the 3rd. You're right.
This is the 3rd year.
3rd rendition.
North Carolina's undefeated in the Jumpman.
Yeah.
Again, this team is starting to click.
7th ranked Florida Gators.
But they're starting to click. We got the players to compete with them and run with them. And now, once again, we are starting to click. Like we've started to figure. We're figuring things out now. Like I think the LaSalle game really pointed out a lot of different things. I think Hubert went in. I think he looked at some footage, and he got some things kind of figured out. He's gonna adjust a few things. I think he's gonna go different with the lineup. Thank goodness they don't have the 7'9" guy playing. I just think that's unfair, period. If you ask me, 7'9" is just ridiculous. You shouldn't even be playing basketball, honestly. But
that's like what was Taco Fall for whatever team he played for?
Tall. I don't even know how tall he was.
Dude, that dude's ridiculous.
Like, dude don't even have to jump to dunk the ball. Like, I seen footage of him a long time ago. He doesn't even. That's just ridiculous. The NCAA should put restrictions on that. If you ask me.
But sorry, sir, you're too tall. You just go right to you get a free pass. Here's you're too tall for college ball. You just go straight to the NBA.
Well, I mean, having a tall person or whatever, it benefits the tall person on both ends of the floor, because number one, on the offensive end, the opposing team is going to foul the tall person because they don't want them to get the basket. On the offensive end, that person is not going to, and not only that, but that 7'9" person or whatever, they're not going to really foul you because they don't have to jump their body to try and block a shot, things like that. Like, they're not going to foul you. So being that tall just has so many more advantages than it does disadvantages. Period. So, but that's another time. I'm getting off topic. I think UNC wins this game. You're in Charlotte. It's gonna be a close one. It's gonna feel like a home crowd.
Even North Carolina gets, it's a neutral court game. So this is that quad one opportunity if you believe in the net rankings. And Joe Lenardi?
You're right.
He's already got like the first ins, first outs. Shut up, dude. It's December.
I'm not dealing with Joe Lenardi right now. I'm not.
But it is a quad one. These next two games are quad one opportunities.
Yeah.
UCLA is ranked 18th, and that's in Madison Square Garden. Obviously, quad one on a neutral court.
And I think they win that game as well. But I think Carolina wins this game. I think this is that game to really show, because when you think about it, they don't really have a top win yet.
Not yet.
So
Dayton's their best win. Dayton beat Marquette.
Exactly. So this is the perfect time for them to go ahead and solidify coming off of a 2-game win streak. So right now, against a big time opponent. So I think that they're going to be focused. I think they're going to be ready. I think Hubert's going to go with a few different things, a few different lineups, because now he's kind of like I said, starting to figure things out. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I just think that they're going to win this game, and I'm not going to say that they're going to blow them out, but I do think they're going to win this game. Yeah,
for sure. So you got them 2-0. 2 more questions, and 2 questions we're out of here, bud.
Okay.
What if North Carolina returns to the Dean Smith Center 0-2 after this week?
Then you should worry. You should put on the panic button. You should panic. And just enjoy the rest of the season and ride it out. And whatever they win, they win. Whatever they don't win, it's expected. Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah. That's basically my general thoughts.
Yeah.
2-0. Okay, this team's probably got it figured out. We're kind of stabilized. 1-1. You still feel kind of good because you got another quad one win. Now it also really depends on how you lose that one game. If you get blown out by 20, that's probably not a good look.
Right.
If you have to come back from 20 points to win the other game by a point or 2, that's probably not a good look. 0-2. The Dean's, the basketball office is on fire. Somebody call the fire department. Somebody call the medics. There's going to be some people having panic attacks around campus.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Yep, no, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But yeah, last thing I will get out of here. It's not your thing, but nobody's talking about UNC basketball. So probably besides us and maybe a couple others, everybody's focus is on the Keenan Football Center. Um, Bill Belichick, the legendary NFL coach, 6 Super Bowl rings as a head coach, coached the greatest quarterback in NFL history and Tom Brady. North Carolina secures his commitment to coach at least 3 years. Your thoughts?
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm not just saying that because of being a Tar Heel fan. I'm saying that because I think it's good I think it's good for UNC, of course. I think it's good for the ACC, but I think it's good for college football.
Yeah.
You like you just mentioned, 6-time Super Bowl champion, 2 times as the head coach, 2 times as the defensive coordinator, get 2 rings. So it's really 8 rings when you
8
think
rings.
about it, not 6. So I mean, what do you say? I mean, to me, it still feels so surreal.
Yeah.
Just because when you put the 2 names together, Bill Belichick and North Carolina, you put the 2 of them together, like it's like, nah, this isn't real. This can't be real. Like I must be dreaming or whatever the case may be. Um, like I said, I think it's going to do good for the ACC because the ACC, it's been doing all of this talk about realignment and, and things like that or whatever, to where now I think they got to go back and reevaluate some things, readjust some things, have some different conversations now because of the fact that, you're talking about somebody who came in on that NFL level with the pedigree that this person has, and look at the revenue that this person is going to bring in for the ACC. Because I mean, if the ACC makes money like that, then I mean, the ACC is going to be on TV because UNC is going to be on TV a lot more.
Oh, there is no more 12 o'clock CW games for UNC next
Right.
year.
So I mean,
Game day could possibly be at UNC for TCU. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
I wouldn't want that to be. I would rather it be like the Clemson game, honestly.
oh yeah, I'd be a good one too. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that North Carolina is able to field a decent enough team to
yeah.
be have a good record going up against Clemson.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I love it. I think if you listen to Bill in his interviews, the man seems extremely happy.
He's got a plan.
He has a huge plan. You can see it on his face. He's already brought in some big time recruits. Just picked up Bryce Baker. Like I know a little bit about football, but I ain't big on it just yet. But got some big things in the works coming soon on the football side of things or whatever. But when I listen to him and he says things like, this is going to be a pipeline to the NFL. We're looking for the players that didn't get recruited by Carolina, that went somewhere else, that now have reached back out saying that they will want to come back home. That's big. That's honorable.
Oh, most definitely.
A lot of coaches just don't do that. I mean, the man is just full of so much, and yet and still at the same time, he's going to be teaching these young players. And he mentioned it on Pat McAfee that, a lot of people's biggest question is, what is he going to do about recruitment? Can he recruit? Or whatever the case may be. Let me just make sure that I make this clear to everybody out there that are not UNC fans. Bill don't have to recruit. Like he said on Pat McAfee, recruitments and agents and families and everybody have been calling him, trying to and asking him What can I do to be a part of the program? Like, please understand that, people. Bill don't have to recruit. And even if he does recruit, maybe a few, but he's got a team that's going to do that for him. It's Bill Belichick. Like, understand that.
Enough said.
That's just it. That's just it. So this is Dion times 100.
Yeah, you got a high quality 5-star quarterback.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey Tom. Hey Tom, this is Bill. You think you can give Johnny 5-star call for him? You know, just tell him how we like to run things. You know what, Bill? I think I could do that for you. Johnny 5-star, this is Tom Brady. How you doing tonight? I'm coming. I'm coming, coach.
yeah.
Come on, man.
Not only that, but
You ain't even got to go eat mom's spaghetti.
Two big things. Number one, he has the IMG connection, which is huge. If you go back and look at the stats for the IMG, I think it was for last year, all you saw was Alabama. All these different players. I mean, it's over 100-something players at IMG, but all of them had Alabama beside their name or whatever. And Bill now has that connection. Like, that's big as in itself. The second thing is, when it's time for like off season and things like that, who do you think he's gonna bring in for like conditioning and things like that or whatever? The Julian Edelmans may come in just to kind of, you know, practice with the guys or whatever, just to try and stay in shape.
Former quarterback turns
Tom
slot
Brady.
receiver extraordinaire.
Yeah, Tom Brady may come in just to throw a few balls to the wide receivers. I mean, who Gronkowski may come in or whatever, just so he can kind of toughen the guys up a little bit.
Gronk coming to UNC for a practice. Oh my goodness, bro!
That's what
that place will probably melt down.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, it's just big. It's big for
He's got a big
football.
Rolodex.
If you listen to a lot of these coaches out here, a lot of these players out here from these other schools, and I will tell UNC fans this because I said this on my Twitter and I say this on my Instagram. If you hear any hate from anybody about this Bill Belichick move, it is out of fear.
Preach. It's out of fear.
Because now
I put it. Oh, sorry, I'm stepping.
Go ahead. Nah, go ahead, Alan.
Look,
go ahead.
I'll put it to you this way. Dabo Swinney never recruited out of the portal. Bill Belichick signed with UNC. Dabo Swinney has officially invited somebody from the portal to come take a look at Clemson. That doesn't happen if Bill Belichick doesn't sign with UNC.
He just got a commitment from somebody in the portal.
That doesn't happen. That's Dabo's first commitment from the portal. He has openly said that he does not go into the portal, that he recruits players out of high school, and he teaches them and grows them within the program.
Yeah. He has got
no more coach.
He has picked up somebody in the portal. He has picked up somebody in the portal. Your boy Doran, whatever his name, from NC State.
Dave Doran.
You make those comments like, oh yeah, he's a great coach and stuff, but I'm not thinking about that program. Watch it. Watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth. I got to say that. Watch your mouth. Like we talk like that. Like we listen. We coming for you, and we coming for you, NC State for sure. I can't wait to see y'all in Raleigh. I can't wait.
I love what Matt Brown did for the program, but this whole it's a rivalry. But if you want me to say I hate the program, I'm not going to say that. It's a fun game. Look, Dave Doran made it fantastically clear when he called North Carolina pieces of shit, and he made it fantastically clear after they won this game,
right?
That they done won their Super Bowl. The bowl game is extra.
Right.
North Carolina is NC State Super Bowl, which tells you what the state of the NC State program is. As long as you beat UNC, coach, we're fine. Whatever. You know,
Yep.
you went 6-6 and beat UNC. That's a winning season to us, coach. Good
Right.
job.
Exactly. Exactly.
I can't get off on this. It's too
I mean,
late.
I got one question for you.
What is it?
How many games do they win next season?
Oh, I looked at the schedule. I
They
think
got
me and Nathan.
they don't have no big teams. They got Clemson, Duke, State, Stanford, Cal, TCU, Charlotte, UCF, Wake Forest, Syracuse.
I think I said the floor. Now this is dependent. We have no idea who the team is. We have no idea who the quarterback is. I don't think Bill Belichick come in to win 7 games. I think the floor absolutely has to be 8 games. I'll say the ceiling is probably 11-1, depending on what Clemson does and what kind of team they feel. You know they're going to be. You know they're tough. They've been at this is their 7th year in the playoff. They're going to be tough again next year. I said if North Carolina, the ceiling I would take North Carolina ceiling is winning every game and losing to Clemson and still being in the ACC championship. And get probably another shot at Clemson because I don't think Miami or Florida State is going to. I don't think Florida State's going to rebound just like that from this season, and I think Miami is probably a little worse next season. But yeah, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being on here. We'll definitely get together and do this again soon. Maybe we can do this thing once a week and just break down the week's past games and the games coming up. But we'll get all your stuff down here in the comments.
And I appreciate y'all having me on, man, for sure. Like, it means a lot, man. Like I said, I've been supporting you guys for a long time. Been an avid listener. Once again, everybody, 94 feet of UNC. If you can notice it, it's on my shirt here. I got some merchandise and stuff coming soon. So that's 94FTOFUNC. Hit me up on my Twitter, up on my Instagram. Follow my YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, man, so you don't miss any of those interviews that I got that's on the channel, man, and support your boy, man. But yeah, it's great to be here. Looking forward to the next one, man. And don't worry, like I said, I got the Hill brothers coming to 94 feet of UNC. That's coming soon. So we're going to definitely make that happen. Absolutely.
Just let me know.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, Alan. And like I said, anytime you need something, that's what I'm here for, my guy. I'm here for the support and here to help out if anything, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate it because there's no way I would win an hour and some change by myself.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Nathan, what up? That's my guy right there, man. That's the guy right there.
That joker's probably asleep right about now.
Oh, so. I'm sure he is, but he'll see this. He's going
to see it because I'll be like, I'm as soon as we close the thing, I'm like, all right, man, it's up. Go ahead, whatever you got to do, let's get this thing out.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man, Lindel, I appreciate you. I appreciate all the advice you've been putting on. You gave my listeners about Hubert Davis in the hot seat. Maybe throw some water on that seat, cool that thing off.
Yeah, let's slow it down, but people. Let's just yeah.
Go out, find Lindel on YouTube, 94 feet of UNC. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Find him on the Twitter, find him on the Instagram.
That's it.
Come see us again. We might be here again next week. Who knows? But come see us. The Hill brothers got a lot of things coming. Nathan, he's in and out when he can. I'm mostly out. We're doing the best we can over here at the Hill brothers. If Lindel, you gave us a bunch of content, but man, we're going to get out of here. I got bed. I think you got work. It's been fun. Just watch that view clicker on the Danny Green. It'll tick up one tomorrow. I'm gonna knock that one out. as soon as I get on that big brown UPS truck.
That's what's up, bro. I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you. And everybody else in the chat, make sure y'all go check it out as well, man, for sure. Like, a lot of great interviews over there. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, Alan, man. And we're gonna make this happen again for sure. Let's make it happen again, bro.
Yep, 7 o'clock, ESPN, UNC versus the number 7 Florida Gators. You know what it is. As always, go Heels.
Go Heels.